I say lob it to Ryan Perez in the paint off a couple of screens.
Esquivel to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria!
There's Warner. Here comes a headed jam. Counted for two.
Field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off.
And it's saved. What a game.
Smack to the left. That is gone.
Lob for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Count it. And a win. And a win. Ryan Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go nuts. And why not?
Well, welcome once again, everybody. Yes, we are back on Wednesday. I did say, well, probably the last show of the year from none other than Luke Fruia Motors. But, of course, well, we are here for another Wednesday show. And we'll welcome in. And, well, Merry Christmas Eve. Something I thought I wouldn't be saying as well. Once again, just didn't expect to be doing a show, but it makes sense. We have time, and it's only an hour show, so why not? Why not have, of course, another show? Yes, it is Luke Fruia. It is, well, Talkin Sports here. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. We're talking sports, not necessarily at Luke Fruia Motors, at a different place, but, you know, we still have a show to do, to be exact. So, I mean, let's dive into it. There's not really anything to kind of break down from this week prior. Yes, there have been some games that have been done, but it hasn't been anything out of the ordinary, to say the least. Well, I mean by that, I mean basically, yes, we had some basketball games these past couple of days, but of course, I was still recovering from a cold. Still technically am, but I'm here, of course, doing the show. So there's nothing really kind of to report back from those games, to say the least. There's still maybe a basketball game this Saturday. The following week, I wouldn't expect much here on RSL Network, just due to the fact of, well, that's leading into the 1st of January. So that'll be something. So, again, just really the schedule for these next couple of weeks just are very, very tentative, to say the least, at least from my perspective looking inwards once again. Yeah, we still have a lot to talk about, though, and it's more, of course, the professional side of things, which will be very exciting. Professional high school or professional college as well, which at this point, we all know college sports is starting to become professional, and I love it. I love every inch of it. I love every inch of this new college football site. I loved every inch of the old college football site, but this makes things a level playing field. I cannot say any more about how much it is. Before we also get into it, well, I have to say this one thing. Congratulations to the Texas A&M Aggies women's volleyball team. They are your 2025 volleyball national champions. For the second year in a row, the national champions have come from a Texas school. Yes, Texas won it last year. This year is Texas A&M's. Absolutely amazing. Texas A&M went through that whole entire tournament in the toughest way possible. A 3 seed. So they got to host the first 2 rounds at home. Defeated those schools. Then went to Nebraska. This is for the Sweet 16, so regional semis to be exact. They faced Louisville in the first game. Nebraska faced Kansas, I believe. And A&M were able to get the job done, reverse sweeping the Louisville Cardinals. Down 2-0. 1-3. 1-4 to bring it into 5 sets. Won that 5th set. And absolutely in spectacular fashion. Got to play against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Coming into that, had not won or had not lost a game at home since about 2023. Something crazy. I know I talked a little bit about it last week because it was 2 weeks ago in that game. But A&M comes back. They win it. They were up 2-0. It did go into 5. And A&M got the job done in set number 5. Going into the Final Four, got to play against the number 1 seed Pitt. Remember, the teams that A&M played against to get there, they beat number 1 seed, top 1 seed, meaning they weren't just number 1 seed, but technically like the number 2 team. No, they were the number 1 team. Pitt was a number 1 seed, a regional number 1 seed. So that means that they got to host throughout the whole entire tournament till the Final Four. And got to play against number 1 seed Kentucky for the national championship. A&M swept number 1 Pitt. Remember, this was A&M's first time to ever make the Final Four in volleyball. And they swept Pitt 3-0. And then going into Sunday afternoon, playing against number 1 Kentucky, a national champion, I believe 2020. 2021 was Louisville, might I add. That's the craziest part about the national champions, is that A&M knocked off several national champions on the way there, whether they had won it in the past year or 2. That was phenomenal. And A&M in the national championship came back in set number 1 to take it. I believe it was 27-25, if not 28-26. Set number 2, A&M were in control of that second set. Going into the third set was a little nerve-wracking, but A&M had the lead throughout the whole entire second set, or throughout the whole entire third set. To the point of where they were up. The Aggies were up 24, I believe 17, if not more than that, with match point. Had to do match point 3 times, but got the job done in the end. Player, of course, to highlight on that team. Well, I mean, there's so many players, from Lednicki to just so many. But one player that you have to highlight because, well, they're from the RGV, and this is still a Rio Grande Valley show. And Rio Sports Live Network, well, it's Rio. Still, from down here. You have to highlight Amari Hernandez. Goes into that school and, didn't get a chance to start this year. This team was absolutely insane. 9 seniors that are all graduating. Yes, there have been transfers coming over now. But for the rest of her life, she can call herself a national champion. She was a part of that team. She did play some and was a part of this team. Texas A&M 2025 volleyball national champions. Absolutely phenomenal. So happy for them. They deserved it. To win that national championship the way that they did. Only getting better throughout the season. Needed to win the SEC championship in order to have an easier run. But this was the more fun. This was the funner of roads to win the national championship. And I love the comments afterwards. Of course, I'm on Twitter, I'm on X to be exact, and was reading, of course, the comments, yes. A lot from Texas fans, a lot from Nebraska fans, a lot from everybody that A&M beat, calling A&M's win, national championship to be exact, a fluke, which I thought that was just absolutely hilarious because, like I said, A&M beat 3 straight number 1 seeds to win the whole thing. I don't think that's a fluke in the slightest. Defeating Nebraska at their own place, a place where they don't lose too often, a place where they don't lose 2 straight sets. They don't even lose sets often. It says a lot, and it's crazy. It was just funny to read those, and of course, and even after A&M defeats Nebraska, and Nebraska's like just said, "Oh, poor," and even other fans were like, "Poor Nebraska not making it. Now Kansas City's going to lose out on a ton of revenue." The Final Four was very successful, and the national championship too was sold out. So there's that. Oh, it's just kind of funny. But yes, again, congratulations to Texas A&M University, volleyball national champions. No one can take that away from the Aggies, especially the way that they did that. That's just, of course, the early going of what we're going to talk about. Yes, we talked about that. Now, of course, we'll dive in very soon to college football. We have a couple of big stories, of course, to still talk about. Yes, we still have to talk about the new findings of the Trinity Rodman saga. What does that mean? Well, the NWSL and NWSLPA, I believe, have officially agreed. If not, well, again, we'll discuss that a little bit more on a new not a new salary cap, but a new designated player role. Or not role, but rule, to be exact. Designated player, what does that mean? Of course, we'll break it down a lot more. But the biggest thing really just means this. Now, a team can spend money on a player over $1 million of the salary cap. That is already in place. And like I mentioned, we'll get into that more. We're also going to talk about the breaking news that happened yesterday. We knew it was going to happen yesterday because we had a little bit of, not insider info. Samantha Tan Racing officially, they posted on their story saying we have big news to announce on Tuesday morning. So stay tuned for that. Of course, it is Wednesday now. Tuesday morning, Molt came and went. And we have the news, and we'll share that with you all here very soon. Yes, of course, that poster right behind me. We'll dive into the whole thing, of course, for that story. Like I mentioned, there's so much to talk about here. There's still, of course, the college football playoffs to get into. Like we mentioned, that'll take us through most of this show for sure after we cover a little bit of that news because, well, again, that, I'll always say this, college football, best football. Definitely over the NFL. No arguments there. But we'll take a quick little break. When we return, we will talk about the NWSL news, and then we'll move on. Stay tuned.
Rev up your future with Texas Southmost College's Auto Body Repair program. In just 2 semesters, you'll gain the skills to become an auto body repair specialist. Learn using industry standard iCar Academy to get you job ready fast. If you're ready to drive your career forward, TSC's Auto Body Repair program is the place to start. Classes are filling fast, so visit tsc.edu and apply today.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. For your GMC, we're professional grade.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
Turn your passion into a powerful career at Texas Southmost College. Our automotive technology program will train you in everything from maintenance to full vehicle systems repair. Earn a certificate or associate degree and get certified to work as a C maintenance or B-level technician. You'll be guided by seasoned instructors who have decades of real-world automotive experience, helping you get ready to roll into the industry. So take the wheel and apply today at tsc.edu.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
Welcome back once again, everybody. I'm Jacob Young. This is Radio Sports Live Network, RSL Network, however you, of course, want to say it, because, well, yeah, we have RSL in on our top right corner of, the broadcast right there. There we go, as you can see. But anyways, more, of course, to talk about, of course, for this show. It's always very interesting. We always have some great topics to talk about, and some that continue to be topical, that continue to be almost timeless, because there's more and more that add on to the story. So it's very, very fun. And yes, of course, the one that we talked about before we went to break, that we would talk about right now, that is none other than the beautiful saga of the Trinity Rodman situation. Of course, now it's not necessarily about her, and it's more about everything that is with it. So let's start this one off very quickly. The Trinity Rodman contract conflict. The current flashpoint is a contract dispute. And, well, this is a lot with ESPN and all the things, but of course, let's break it down for you really quickly, as we have every single week. If you've missed it, you can go back a couple weeks or whatever, however you'd like to, of course, hear this story. But let's give you a quick rundown. Basically, after the championship was done and dusted, Trinity Rodman had a chance to opt out of her contract and want more money, and so she was getting getting to be a bigger and bigger star. There was a chance that she could go over to Europe in this year to play soccer, potentially for Chelsea, potentially for Arsenal, potentially for Liverpool, whoever would really want her, Olympique Lyon, all the way up to Paris Saint-Germain. The list goes on for the teams that she could want to play for in Europe, because the contracts there don't have a salary cap. And that is a key thing, don't have a salary cap. So they can pay Trinity Rodman however much she says that she's worth, and however much that they would agree on, which is very key in this whole argument that the NWSL should not have a salary cap, considering the fact of the matter of that. Well, it is the United States Women's Soccer League. The U.S. Women's Soccer team have won 4 straight World Cups. Not 4 straight, my bad, but 4 World Cups, which, if you look at the list, it's almost unprecedented how many gold medals. Of course, the U.S. Women's National Team have won as well. They have not missed one of those World Cup or Olympic breaks, to be exact, of not coming home with either a World Cup trophy or an Olympic gold medal, or an Olympic medal, to be exact. So there's a lot of kind of, not necessarily argument, but the U.S. hold the gauntlet of the players. They hold the players that should be worth the most in the world in the women's soccer level, and the NWSL just at the moment just didn't seem like they wanted to pay them that much. So you have Alyssa Thompson, you have Lindsay Heaps, you have a lot of players that have already left to go play in Europe. There have been players who have gone over to play in Europe and have come back to the NWSL, so it all just depends. Point is, that is where we stand at the moment. Let's go on to a Trinity Rodman contract conflict. The current flashpoint is a contract dispute involving superstar forward Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit. The Spirit and Rodman agreed to a multi-year deal with compensation that the league rejected, claiming it violated the salary cap structure. The NWSLPA filed a grievance against the league, saying that the veto violated multiple sections of the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, and Rodman's free agency rights. So that was really how all this started. League's new high-impact player rule. In response to concerns about losing star players like Rodman to Europe, the NWSL's board approved a new roster mechanism, officially dubbed the High Impact Player Rule, that would allow teams to exceed the salary cap by up to $1 million to attract and retain elite talent starting July 1st, 2026. Rooters +1. This is meant to function similarly to MLS's designated player rule, enabling clubs to spend more on select players without the full cap hit. The league has presented this as a historic investment to boost competitiveness and help retain talent. NWSLPA's position, the Players Association has strongly opposed the high-impact player rule, arguing that the league cannot ultimately implement changes affecting compensation for the salary cap. Without bargaining with the union under federal labor law, the HIP rule is exclusionary, benefits only certain players rather than broad roster flexibility. A fair alternative would be simply raising the overall salary cap by $1 million to allow teams more flexibility in paying all players, not just select stars. All for the 11 players, to be exact, is what they were saying. The NWSL union stands. The NWSLPA says it is willing to bargain in good faith, but rejects the league's approach to implement the HIP without formal consent. The union contends that such compensation changes are mandatory subjects of bargaining under the labor law, all for 11, where things stand now, where things stand now, the status of the HIP rule. The league has announced player rule effective. Implementation of the high-impact player rule effective July 2026, but the NWSLPA continues to push back and has indicated legal and labor action if necessary. Rodman's free agency timeline. Rodman's contract expires end of December 2025, so it's already expired, basically. It expires at the end of the month, I should say. Intended to help keep her in the NWSL. Nothing is guaranteed, and European interest remains strong. The Sun, of course, explained that. Potential next step, if the grievance over Rodman's veto isn't resolved internally, it could go to arbitration or further legal proceedings under the CBA. The dispute over the HIP rule may require formal collective bargaining or even labor board involvement due to questions about compensation changes. Why this matters. The outcome could have major implications for the NWSL's competitiveness with European leagues, where top-women's players often earn far higher salaries. The dispute highlights broader tensions with women's sports over player compensation, labor rights, and league growth strategies. It's the truth. If you want, so yes, indeed. And so now, of course, in the early goings of 2026, it's very simple. The free agency is not too far away. The transfer window opens very, very soon for both men's and women's. The biggest thing that we see right now is that, yes, they're still pushing on this. But it's very interesting to see that it kind of all started with Trinity Rodman. Then, of course, you have a week ago that Sophia Wilson officially signs, or not officially signs a contract. It gives her a year to sign a contract with the Portland Thorns, but chose to use her player right, or her player option, I should say, that exceeded over $1 million, which was or for $1 million to be exact, which was pretty crazy. And it gives her the comfort, of course, with her new kid and all of that to come into play. And so that was a big monkey off of course, the Portland Thorns back while they wait for all of this to find its middle ground. And the biggest thing, of course, with the NWSL, of course, rejecting the contract and then trying for the HIP rule to be in effect. They've already put it through, but then the NWSLPA is still pushing away from it. The biggest thing that we can see happening right now is that they're still coming up with it, and yes, the NWSL is still saying that the high impact player role, the high impact player rule for 2026 is still going to be a thing. The salary cap, which is $3.5 million, 26. They can go $1 million over that. So it's interesting. The union is still objecting to it. So that is confirmed. That was the biggest thing that we really were wondering about. Is where the union, where the NWSL, the Players Association, all the players still stand on it. And it's still going to be a question into the new year. It's still going to be a question of whether or not this really continues. And the biggest thing that can come out of it is that for the NWSL, when does the NWSL season start? For 2026. I will give you exactly when it starts here in 2026. Season will begin on March 13th. So what it's sounding like right now, yes, of course, this kind of needs to be done before the new year, or not necessarily before the new year, but before the cap opens up, the transfer window opens up, because the free agency will start up. You can definitely start to see Rodman's time in the NWSL is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Because if the players aren't going to agree on it, things are going to get dragged out so much that by March, there's a chance that we won't have this, that the NWSL and the PA will still not be agreed on this exact thing. Because it's important for everyone's salaries moving forward. It's important to see where the NWSL will be at with their TV deals. Reminder, that's going to be a big moneymaker in general, is going to be for the TV deals. But like I mentioned, this really goes, you can go down a rabbit hole with it, and it's very interesting. And go back to saying, why does the NWSL still have a salary cap? There's reasons to that still. The NWSL still feels like they are still in the 2005 era of this league, 2007 era, whenever this league started. The reason, of course, being there were 3 different leagues behind the NWSL that tried. After the 1999 World Cup win for the U.S. women's national team that they won at the Rose Bowl, a sold-out Rose Bowl, by the way. You go back to what we saw, leagues failing and failing. We saw the horrificness of old owners, old coaches, even at the start of the NWSL. We saw, of course, the early goings of equality for paying because, well, again, the U.S. Women's National Team had World Cups to their name. The men never did. And so we've seen the growth of this league, but it feels like the NWSL are too scared to get away from what they feel has made them well to protect the owners on top of it. It's such a situation that goes back and forth so much. That goes one way, and then it turns the other way. The NWSL are only as good as they are. That's the truth. So, I'm excited to see where this all goes. I'm excited to stay following this story because we don't know where it will be going here very soon. But that's enough on this, of course, topic. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will be discussing one thing that I've wanted to discuss since, of course, yesterday. That is, of course, the Samantha Tan news, the Samantha Tan racing news. It's big news for that side. I know I sound like somebody right then, but it's news that I did not expect to see in the span of course, 2 weeks ago, where it felt like this driver and team were at. So we'll be right back after this when we return. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. Stay tuned.
This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
It means a lot to me. TFC has changed me to make me realize that I can accomplish things. Just don't give up. I've come a long way from where I was to what I am now, and there's no limit to where I'm going.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs.
Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate, call us now.
If you've been in a car crash, call Kenny. We're available to take your call 24/7, and we don't charge a fee unless we win your case. When you're in a car crash, call Kenny. Call 999-1111 now for a free consultation.
Back. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. Still so much, of course, to talk about. We're just about to hit the 40-minute mark of this show. And again, happy holidays here from, of course, Rio Sports Live Network. Happy holidays from yours truly, Jacob Young. Merry Christmas Eve. It definitely is a little weird to be doing a show on Christmas Eve, but I I don't know. It's something special, I guess, to be working on this day because I've always wanted to work on like Thanksgiving that week, Thanksgiving Day, and even, of course, Black Friday, the big college football rivalries, the big college basketball tournaments at like Battle of Atlantis or Maui, or, of course, now the big MGM Grand Tournament. You know, those types of games, I don't know, they feel special. So this is kind of cool to be working on this day in a way. Talking sports. And of course, I still get to spend the evening when it's the big one. Like, I have a really cool tradition on my mom's side of the family where, of course, in the evening we go over, we have ham, we do fun stuff. From just all the Christmas traditions of white elephant to just stay there till midnight. Always remember that, of course, from when I was young, but it's always special. But moving on, this is something, of course, special, as we kind of talked about. Because, again, something that I didn't expect to have news of 2 days ago. Let's go all the way to the start of this. Well, or a day ago, to be exact. And about 3 weeks ago, let me tell you a little bit about myself as well. I was feeling, of course, November 4th is my birthday. I turned the big 26 this year, 26 years old, and America is almost as significant as turning 30. And what I mean by that is basically, if you don't have a full-time job by that time, you're going to be looking for one thing and one thing only, if you really want it. And that is insurance. Health insurance, to be exact. Not only car insurance. Because you get kicked off of all of your insurances in general from, of course, your parents. And that includes dental, that includes health, car, like I mentioned. And so I was feeling a bit down, for sure. And a little lost of just basically like, where am I going on this path? Anyways, it was really cool to see somebody that I've gotten to meet, which is Samantha Chan, and a champion, multiple championships. She has multiple championships under her belt as well, from 2020, I believe. Won her class in the 24 hours series. And finished third 2 years ago in their first full-time season in GT World Challenge Americas. And then last year, of course, not this past season, but 2 seasons ago now officially. We all know, of course, how that ended, losing in the championship race by a single point. Because mechanical failure is out of her control, out of the team's control. And then, of course, winning a championship this season. I bring all of that up because she posted an Instagram story of saying that she didn't know where she would be racing this upcoming season. And that was something crazy to hear. It's like I felt stagnant at the time and all that. Point is, it felt so relatable to me. And this is one of the reasons why I like this driver a lot, this team a lot, because they're so relatable. They are a small team, just like this company is small, just like all of this. And so I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. I just resonated with it so well, and this is why I resonate with this team so well. And so this was a couple weeks ago. This wasn't that long ago that she posted this, that the team posted this. And so to get this news officially, and everybody in her Discord, everybody in the team's Discord, everybody really kind of knew that there was going to be offers coming along for this driver, for this team, if they could scrape up enough money to potentially go to the next step. And they teamed up with another BMW team. That's the biggest thing. Samantha Tan Racing, they are, well, for the driver herself, she's a BMW ambassador. Meaning, well, you're not a factory driver. You don't have a factory contract, but being an ambassador means you will still have opportunities to, well, go to the races, to social media content for the teams, and all of this, and then on top of that, represent them when you drive for a team or with a team or your own team. And it is the truth. But let's go into exactly what is this big move? What is this? What can we expect Samantha Tan and SGR to be racing this season? Because last year they were in the beautiful IMSA VP Racing's Fuel Sports Car Challenge, which brought last year a brand new class into their category of racing. And what was that brand new class, you may ask? It was GT3 cars, or as they call it, GT3X or GTDX, which is GT Daytona, which just is better words for GT3s. And so that was a pretty cool class in general. They had the GSX and they had the GT, or they had the LMP3s is what I'm trying to say here. So let's move on to, of course, Samantha Tan Racing. They win the championship in that class. It was 40-minute races. It was a big sprint compared to what Samantha Tan had done a season ago, which was a 2-hour race, or the 90-minute races with a teammate in GT World Challenge Americas. And so you move on, of course, things are only going to get more expensive. The top of the top is always going to be the most expensive, and that would be the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Challenge Series that has the GTPs, the GT Daytonas, which are the GT3s from GTD Pro to GTD, just GTD, where you have Pro-Am drivers as well. Then, of course, you also would have LMP2s mixed in between in the LMP2 class. Those would be your three categories. But again, they're the most expensive because, well, you're talking about the 24 hours of Daytona, 12 hours of Sebring, 6 hours of the Glen, 6 hours of the Battle of the Bricks. Of course, that has been switched around now officially to 6 hours of Road America. I don't know what the official title of that race will be at Elkhart Lake. And then, of course, you have the 10 hours of Petit Le Mans at the end of the season to wrap it up. Not to mention you have a lot of 2.5 hour or 2 hour races in between those, from VIR to Long Beach, even to not only those tracks, but some in between. So it's a lot more traveling. It's a lot more tires to be used, which means probably given around $3,000 for each set. During a 24-hour race, you're pitting just about every hour or so. And maybe every other stop you're using tires. So again, do the math. It's not cheap. this series that she's joining is pretty interesting, to say the least, and we'll get into it. Samantha Tan Racing has officially partnered with Random Vandals Racing. They will be in the GT4 category, or also known as the Grand Sport category, in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. That is the challenge, that is the series right underneath the WeatherTech Sports Car Challenge Series. What is in that or what is in that series, to be exact? Is it just GT4? Is it just the Grand Sport cars? No, it is not. It is also TCRs, or touring cars, to be exact. The touring cars, of course, consist of the Hyundai Elantra to the Honda Civics to the, well, really, basically only those two kind of dominate the field. You would probably now see the GR Corolla, the hatchback, to be exact, probably joining in on that one. There is a Mexico, a car that's made in Mexico. I forget the name of it, but it is a coupe. It is their hatchback. They have done an Alfa Romeo, has had a coupe in that series before as well. At one point, way back in the day, Mazda were in that series too, with their, of course, Miatas. But the MX-5 has since had their own series that is raced alongside the weekends of Circuit, or not of Circuit of the Americas, but of the WeatherTech Sports Car America Series. And a couple of other races as well for that one. But anyways, this was big. So, big recent move in IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge in 2026. Samantha Tan announced headline partnership with SD Racing by Random Vandals to compete in the 2026 IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge GS class. She'll share the number 38 BMW M4 GT4 Evo with veteran BMW factory driver Bill Oberlin, creating a spotlight driver lineup expected to contend at the front of the GS field. Racers Plus One had this to say, this move marks one of her most significant North America-focused programs yet, and expands ST Racing's footprint with a high-profile entry backed by Random Vandals. Competitive infrastructure. Oh, I get what they're saying here. Backed by Random Vandals is competitive in infrastructure. IMSA 2025 Racing Recap Championship success. I just talked about it once again. Let's break it down. In 2025, Tan had a standout season in the IMSA VP Racing Fuels Sports Car Championship Challenge, to be exact, securing multiple class wins and ultimately clinching the GTDX Bronze Drivers Championship at Road Atlanta. Her performances included strong podiums and consistent speed throughout the year. Earlier in the season, she also dominated the bronze class at Circuit of the Americas and extended her championship lead, showcasing her growth and consistency as a driver. Samantha Tan Racing, of course, dominated COTA, swept the podium there, which, again, for 2 straight years in a row, swept the podium at Circuit of the Americas, whether or not that was from GT World Challenge Americas or the IMSA VP Sports Car Racing Fuels Challenge. But now let's talk about, of course, a role at BMW for Samantha Tan in general. So Tan continues to serve as a BMW Motorsport Global Ambassador for 2025-26, a role that keeps her active at events and promotional efforts across North America, Europe, and Asia. This ambassador position highlights both her on-track success and her role as a bridge between the brand and fans, particularly as one of the few prominent Asian Canadian women in top-level GT racing. Of course, that was by Forbes. That was what was said in Forbes because, again, she has made it into the Forbes under 30. Or not again, but she has made it into the Forbes under 30, which is pretty cool. Earlier career and background, of course, Samantha Tan, born in 1997, is a Canadian racer and team co-owner of ST Racing, also on track and in management alongside her father. She's achieved championships in endurance racing, including the 24-hour GT series. We talked about that, and has competed across GT categories worldwide. That's, of course, you can find that on Wikipedia. Beyond IMSA, she has competed in series such as GT World Challenge America and has gained international experience, including appearances at European endurance events. That's by, of course, racers.com. Samantha Tan's trajectory is notable for several reasons. Competitive progression from bronze class wins to overall titles and now a GS class IMSA campaign. Brand presence as a BMW ambassador, she influences motorsport marketing and fan engagement globally. Representation, Tan stands out as a successful female driver and team owner in a male-dominated sports car racing. In male-dominated sports car racing. This is true. And even before, of course, I kind of go on, and yes, of course, I've been reading just kind of this script that I kind of created myself with, of course, the help of just all the extra titles that I have. But point is, this is a big thing. Samantha Tan has been one of the, if not the nicest person I have ever met. As a racer herself. It's so crazy. She's so good at fan engagement. To the point of where, she let this guy, myself, interview her again 2 years ago on the grid at Circuit of the Americas for 40 seconds. She's responded to fan interactions, talked in, of course, Discord with us fans, and again, meeting her was the best thing on earth because she was so nice. She's invited me onto, of course, the not the grid, but her pit wall, to be exact, watching, of course, her qualifying. And I'll cherish those for the rest of my life. And like I mentioned, it's so crazy the way that Sam has been able to continue to grow her fan base, to continue to grow the sport that everyone loves, which is endurance racing. So, pretty cool in general. And so, yeah, it's definitely has grown into her having a ton of fans, and then now racing with Bill Oberlin. She's gotten to be a team owner, or again, team co-owner with her father, owning one of the cars that Bill Oberlin actually raced in 2024, which was pretty interesting. And that was something neat in itself. So, yeah, definitely a lot of things to kind of mention for her and the success that she's going to have this season. This upcoming season, I should say. It'll start off at Daytona. We'll end at Road America. Or check that. We'll end at Road Atlanta. That first race will be 4 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next races after that, a lot of them will be just regular 2 hours or so. We'll give you exactly her schedule very quickly before we get on out of here. And, of course, Point is, for a person like me, a fan like me, and a person who covers this was the best Christmas present that I could have gotten this year. As in just news that Samantha Tan Racing will continue to race, even though it is officially going to be under. It just partnered with Random Vandals Racing. But guess what that means? She'll get to continue racing with Bill Auberlin, with other drivers, and a chance for even now with SGR and Random Vandals to be able to build up their brand enough to gain some more sponsors and once again but make it to the top split, the top of the top endurance racing realm where everyone truly will ever want to be, especially in the U.S. She never went into open wheel racing. That was never a question. She started racing when she was 16. So it's kind of where it goes. Anyways, 22 days. Wow, 22 days until Daytona, the 24. The Roar before the 24 to be exact. January 16th through the 18th. And really just wanted to get the schedule for you all before we head out once again. Yes, there we go. They will start at the Roar before the 24, which will just be the testing for themselves. That's January 16th through the January 16th through the 18th. Then it will be the BMW M Endurance Challenge at Daytona, at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. That duration of the race will be 4 hours for themselves. Then they go to the Alan J. Automotive Network 120 at Sebring. That length of the race will be from March 18th through the 21st. That length will be 2 hours. And then at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca will be a 2-hour race once again. Then after that, the O'Reilly Auto Parts 4 hours of Mid-Ohio. That will go on for 4 hours. That's what it says, of course. And that's through June 5th and through June 7th. The Salins 6 hours of the Glen, June 25th through the 28th. The 120 to be exact, so that's going to be another 2 hours. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, yes, you get to go back home for this one. The Chevrolet Grand Prix, July 10th through the 12th, that's another 2-hour duration race. Then at Road America, the Motul Sports Car Endurance Grand Prix will be July 30th through the August 2nd. That's going to be another 2-hour endurance race. Then Virginia is for racing lovers Grand Prix. That's the Michelin GT Challenge at VIR. Another 2-hour duration. They'll go back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. The TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. That is September 18th through the 20th. Another 2-hour duration. And then we'll finish off the season at the Motul Petit Le Mans. Another 2-hour race, October 1st through October 3rd. So not a lot of 4-hour races, only one, but you get the gist of it. That is their schedule. Looking forward to it. Well, that'll do it for us here. I've been Jacob Young. This has been a Rio Sports Live presentation. Have a very, very great Christmas. Happy holidays. Just be safe, of course. And we will see you all very, very soon. We didn't get to talk football, but we got to talk some interesting topics. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I've been Jake Young. This has been a Real Sports Live